This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1615 previews.
Laser beams, opinions like the seasons on everything you read in comics, movies, games, toys, artists, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek Speak, Comic Geek, uniting the world's mightiest heroes. This is...
I'm Brian Chrisman.
I'm Shane Kelly.
I'm Adam Murdo.
I'm Chris Eberly. Also starring Brian D.
Here we go. Right. And welcome to the show. Yes. This is the July previews catalog. First book shipping to stores starting in September.
Book shipping to store.
What? Book sphincter store? What did you say?
That was funny.
No, it wasn't. This is... I'll be trying to take two. No one's going to hear that.
No, come on.
No idea
No.
what you just said.
That was like you were trying to be Jimmy Stewart or God, who's the other guy from
Ed
Casablanca?
Sullivan?
The hell was it? I can't remember his name. He's
Claude Rains.
Claude
Edward
Rains.
G. Robinson?
And Richie Robinson, yeah.
Anyway, he wasn't... This is a previous episode. Somebody else talk announcements.
Announcements.
It's been a long time since we heard that.
Did I? What horrible did I? What horrible did
Somebody talk about the f***ing announcements!
Well, where shall we begin?
Well, let's do our sponsor for this episode, shall we?
The announcements! Oh my god!
We gotta do a sponsor pants. Somebody has to pay the bills.
Then the announcements.
This episode of Comic Geek Speak is brought to you by Discount Comic Book Service. That's right. Go to dcbservice.com to order all your comics, including all the things we're going to talk about in this episode at huge discounts. Anybody?
Oh my god! Yes. When you pre-order any DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, or Image book, they're right away 40% off cover price.
What's that, Pants?
40% off cover price. Most
Wow.
other publishers are between 25 and 35% off cover price, or 20 to 35% off cover price. They do run many, many specials of sometimes 45, 50, 60, even up to 75% off cover price. They also have many, many bundles where they'll bundle together a bunch of books for a one low price. They can ship the books to you with bags and board. You can get your books shipped weekly, twice monthly. They're wonderful. We've used them for quite a long time. Discounts, comic book service, dcbservice.com.
All right. Pants, you have any announcements before I make some announcements?
I have no announcements, sir.
All right.
I'm waiting for you.
I would like to announce that Chris is going to have some announcements.
I just wanted to... I like that 1940s radio voice there, Shane. Well done. I just wanted to reassure our listeners that we have not forgotten OTRs from the past few months. We will be recording an episode in the near future that will cover the OTRs for May and June. And we didn't announce our OTRs that are shipping in July. That's going to be... We're not doing Marvel because nothing from Marvel jumped out at us in the May previews. We'll be doing two from DC, Superwoman #1 and Deathstroke Rebirth #1. And then from Image, the latest Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips noir book, Kill or Be Killed #1. So those are our OTR selections coming out in July. Any questions there from anybody?
No, but
Terrific.
I have a question for you, Chris, since this
Sure.
previews mentions the Halloween Comic Fest books.
Halloween.
Yes.
Can you want to talk about that at your store this October?
Yeah, I was actually going to do that as we went through the book, but I'll be happy to talk about it now. Thank you, sir. Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, I'm relieved that Halloween Fest is actually not on Halloween this year, so maybe I'll actually make some money this year. Don't get me started on that one. So, yeah, Pants, we'll be carrying most of the books you're going to see in the previews. They'll be free. They're not free for the store, but they're free for customers coming in. And what day is that, Pants? October 29th?
That's
October
correct.
29th.
Okay. So, Thank the Stars is not actually on Halloween, and we'll be holding a full-blown sale, of course, on that day. There'll be another auction on that day. More details to follow as we get closer to October. But again, anyone who's been to one of the Wild Pick sales, or if you've heard about them, it's well worth your while. And stay tuned for more details on the discounts and the selection that we'll be offering, and of course the choice auction items. That'll be on October 29th. Halloween Fest, which essentially is Free Comic Book Day Part 2.
All right.
Thanks for that little moment there, honey.
Yeah. All right. If there's nothing else, then let's jump into previews, starting with Dark Horse.
All right. Let's see what we got here.
Well, on page 52, we've got the first four-issue Aliens miniseries entitled Life and Death by the creative team of Dan Abnett, writer, and Moritat, the artist.
Oh, wow.
Page 56 has Tarzan on the Planet of the Apes.
Holy crap.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, me neither.
Wow.
I thought
Tim
that was,
Seeley.
thought that was
They
kind
have
of cool.
two excellent writers on this, Tim Seeley and David Walker.
Yeah.
I'm going to read that. Wow. Outstanding.
Thought
Yeah,
that was
you know,
kinda
that's got the Jamie D seal of approval.
cool. Well,
Oh, it sure does.
yeah.
Has
Can't go
anybody
wrong
gone
there.
to the Tarzan movie that's out right now?
I have not yet.
I'm actually going to go see it Wednesday this
Okay.
week. I got a free
Okay.
pass, so I'm going to go see that.
Pants, I'm interested to hear how it is.
Okay.
So, because I always like Tarzan. He hasn't had a movie in quite some time, I believe. So, interested. And I know Samuel L. Jackson's in it. So,
Spoilers! I didn't know that. Thank you.
Oh, now Pants isn't going to see it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
sorry, I
Don't forget who you're
give up.
talking to.
I just give up on that.
You should. You really should.
I just give up.
Page 62 and 63 have more of those adult coloring books. One for Avatar: The Last Airbender and one for Serenity.
Ah.
I ordered the one from Mouse Guard last month.
Did you? I think I did too. If not, I meant to. I have the one Doctor Who one that I have to start yet. And there's a couple that are actually pretty interesting that I've seen.
Has anyone heard, speaking of Serenity, has there been any further talk of a reunion for that show?
Only at cons.
Oh, every
Only
like
cons?
5 minutes on the internet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. But so nothing serious then?
No.
No, basically, Whedon has come out and said there will never be Serenity. Like,
Okay. Fair enough. I wanted to jump back, actually, to page 58 and 59. Mike Mignola has two new offerings coming out. Rise of the Black Flame, #1, and then Hellboy and the BPRD 1954 Black Sun, #1, of 2. So if you're a fan of his work and of these characters, especially, BPRD, you might want to check these out. So.
the Rise of the Black Flame, the artwork is Christopher Mitten, and he's awesome, and that sample page there looks beautiful.
It does indeed, my friend.
Yeah,
Standing.
we're marching backwards here. I'm going to jump back one more page to page 57 to point out The Strain, Mr. Quinlan Vampire Hunter. So this is a miniseries derived from the FX network vampire horror series, The Strain, and it's apparently at least partly set in ancient Roman times. It's a 5-issue miniseries written by David Lapham of Stray Bullets.
Oh, wow. Well, that writer, and consider my passion for ancient Rome, I may check that out. Fascinating. What else for Dark Horse, brothers?
I noticed on 74 Creatures of the Night hardcover, 2nd edition from Neil Gaiman's stuff.
Anytime.
I'll just continue to preach, Gru. If you've never really read Gru, they got another series out now. Page 80.
Can always count on Mr. Deemer to proselytize for Gru. Excellent. Also on page 69, this sounds interesting. Alistair and Adolf hardcover. Douglas Rushkoff writing, Michael Avon Oeming doing the art. Alistair Crowley develops a powerful and dangerous new weapon in the conflict against the Axis powers. This unconventional form of warfare could cast the world into Armageddon. All right, so it's an original graphic novel. Mr. Deemer, are you reading Department H by Matt Kint?
Not yet, but I will.
Because I've yet to read Mind Manager. I know you speak very highly of it.
Yeah, that was excellent. I haven't finished Mind Management, but I mean, Matt Kinn is he's just fantastic.
I actually have it on my shelf. I haven't read it yet. I have, I think it's Two Sisters.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, I have that. I have the hardcover. I got to read that.
Why are you reading anything else?
Well, I'm reading a biography of Custer right now. I'm reading all kinds of different things.
Yeah, that guy was a hack. Read. Matt Kinn.
in many ways, he was. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was poor choice of words.
His soldiers certainly thought so at the end. Anyway, Archie Archives in '78, The Double Date and Other Stories. Again, I always love when companies do these retrospectives, tapping into the history of the various properties they have control over. I always love how Archie's drawn back then, like the huge buck teeth. Mm-hmm. I always found that interesting.
The only problem with that is it makes me want to, in my voice, in my head here, yup, hi, Jughead. Or something like that.
That's a good point, Shane.
And Jughead looks a little snooty.
Anything else for Dark Horse, gentlemen?
I do not have anything else for Dark Horse.
Mm-hmm. No, sir.
All right, then on to DC, where they have DCBS has not one, not two,
oh my God,
not three, not four,
what?
But 5 Rebirth bundles.
What?
Now, one of them is just all the variants, all 49 of them, at
God.
45% off.
Jeez.
But they have 4 other Rebirth bundles where they have various titles, all at half off cover price.
Wow.
And I should also mention that all DC and Marvel new trades and hardcovers are half off when you order from DCBS. I tried to mention that.
Wow.
I take so advantage of that.
I'm sure you do.
Shane, you want to talk about our first OTR from this previews?
First one is going to be from page 88 and 89. It's DC's Young Animal, Doom Patrol number 1, with written by Gerard Way and art and cover by Nick Darrington. I just thought it would be interesting because it's Doom Patrol. I used to love many of the iterations of Doom Patrol that have been throughout the years.
So do we think that this will be more heady like the Morrison Doom Patrol, or more straightforward like the Byrne Doom Patrol, or whatever?
I think it'll be a little heady.
Well, it says in the copy that it's Gerard Way is the author, and he refers to the Morrison Doom Patrol as a book he grew up reading. Okay. But I get the sense they're going to incorporate different elements of sort of Doom Patrol's history here, or different versions of it and so forth.
Right. So it's going to position itself between a bunch of different takes on the Doom Patrol concept, but it is probably going to gravitate more towards Morrison.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they're not it's not a Vertigo title. So
I thought that too.
And I think the idea behind this whole Young Animal sub-imprint is that it's supposed to be kind of like what Vertigo used to be back in its early days, its salad days.
I don't really know. That's interesting, right? Because I don't know. I think Peter would be able to really vocalize this better than I will. But I was reading comics, buying comics when Vertigo first started coming out, and I had been reading some of the Vertigo titles before they were imprinted with Vertigo.
Sure.
And I feel like Vertigo still maintained its general feel. I mean, up until recently with Scalped and Northlanders and DMZ and Fables, that was Vertigo.
Yeah.
My mental impression of Vertigo hasn't really changed since 1994 or whatever. I don't know what that really means to go back to Vertigo, right?
Well, I get the sense, based on what Adam was saying, that when you think of early Vertigo, maybe DC's trying to harken back to that feeling. What do you think, Murd? Is that how you...
in terms of subject matter, I think it's going to be more about strange alternative takes on established DC characters, whereas Vertigo is more about original concepts.
All right, I see what you mean. So, the fact that all of those properties, Hellblazer and Doom Patrol and Shade and all that stuff, was in the DC universe proper. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I see what you mean. So, the fact that all of those properties, Hellblazer and Doom Patrol and Shade and all that stuff was in the DC universe proper. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now it's being kind of taken aside into a shadowy alley by Gerard Way and company and reinitiated.
And I should mention that this issue is 75% off the cover price of $3.99, only
Even
99 cents
better.
from DCBS.
Even better.
Wow.
Well, then I'll check it out for $1.
I love a buck.
How do they do it? Volume, volume, volume.
They turn it up to 11.
Sold on
Now-
their own.
Now, Shane, when you turn to page 9091, talk about 2 pages made for you.
Yeah, you're not kidding. I'm excited to see Batman Beyond continue. I really enjoyed that last series. That's still later in this issue. I think later in this previews is number 16 of that Batman Beyond series coming out. And to have Blue Beetle back in his own series with Ted Kord there, as well as this picture of Dr. Fate in there, that kind of interests me because this whole Beetle, I suspect, is all magical versus tech.
But it's Jaime and Ted, right?
It's
Are they
Jaime and
both in
Ted.
it?
And Ted was never, in this continuity, if I remember what I read, Ted was never the Blue Beetle, but he's going to be a mentor of sorts to Jaime. He had the
Okay.
Scarab, he has the company of Kord Industries and all the tech and gadgets and all that, but he was never Blue Beetle in this reality. If I remember right. But yeah, I'm still excited. That'll still be cool. That's
Well,
what
Shane,
I was
I'm
hoping
going to
for.
order these and read them so we can discuss them together.
That's what I was hoping for out of the Smallville episode when both Jaime and Booster and Ted were in it, and they left that in the way that Ted would help mentor Jaime with Booster as the superhero assist. That I think that could have been a lot of fun if they would have progressed with something else after that. But yeah, Chris, that'll be great to talk about.
I look forward to it, brother. Page 94, a new Supergirl series. Clearly influenced to some degree by this television show.
What do you mean?
And it's fine with me because I really enjoy the television
I do
show.
too.
So, now didn't they move that? They moved that from to a network, didn't
Oh
they?
yes, it's on the CW now.
Okay.
There will be a Christmas crossover between Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, and Supergirl. And just wait till you get caught up on all those shows to see who else is coming in. Oh,
Yeah, I'm waiting for the second season of Flash to be dropped on Netflix.
you might have to wait a while.
No, they announced that the next season will be on Netflix like the day after or 2 days after
Something like
the
that.
season wraps.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That'll be fun. But this
All
next one, I fear, will be October.
Because I'm still watching Arrow season 3, so
Okay.
I'm quite behind there.
You are behind.
Yeah. I could have gone in so many bad directions with that comment. Well done, sir.
It doesn't hurt that both boys enjoy almost everything about at least Arrow, Flash, and Legends, that we sit down and watch them and talk about them. I couldn't get him quite on board with Supergirl, although Ben's watched some of the episodes with me. I think they'll get into it now that it's on CW with all the other ones.
Sounds good. Yeah, I haven't seen the Legends show at all, so
It's okay. I enjoy it for what it is. Flash and Arrow are better.
fair enough. Fair enough. Page 96, Trinity number 1. A Francis Manipul vehicle. He's doing the writing and the art. So they're bringing back Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. They're bringing them back together again. But now this Superman is the Superman from the old continuity, correct?
Maybe?
It's hard to say, since this
Okay.
is like an auteur's vanity project here, written and penciled by the same. It might be a little bit unstuck from current continuity. It could be the new 52 Superman. It could be pre-Flashpoint Superman. It's a Superman. Which
says-
Manipul likes.
It says a new Man of Steel.
Okay, well... Well, again...
Well, that could mean, since old Clark is now, quote, new, right, in this new DC universe.
That's
so
what I
it
was thinking.
could mean that.
That's why it remains somewhat ambiguous.
I mean,
But-
granted, as we all... I'm sorry, Murray, go ahead. I apologize.
Yeah, we can tell for the reflection in Wonder Woman's sword blade which foes the three heroes are going to be going up against, at least.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Of course, now in the post DC rebirth, we've got multiple Jokers, right? We've got apparently a reference to 10 years of time that have been lost.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, we have the whole Watchmen angle that they have not even begun to explore yet. So,
I think we
Remains to
should
be seen where this is all going.
I think we should see Rip Hunter with a chalkboard again.
I might. I think we skipped it here, but I might pick up Teen Titans Rebirth because. Okay, now I have a question because this is confusing me. These ones that say Rebirth, is that just like a one shot and then there's
Yes.
like a series after it?
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So there will be a Teen Titans #1 next month.
Okay.
The Rebirth explains what's going to happen now loosely. Like, from here forward is kind of established in this issue. And
Okay,
then
do-
the series
Like a zero
starts.
issue.
Yeah.
All right. So do we know if the Teen Titans regular book is going to be shipping twice monthly or just once a month?
I think this one's just once a month. I think Titans is twice a month.
Oh my God! There's Titans and Teen Titans.
Oh, yeah,
What the hell's the
Titans-
difference?
Titans has the original
Titans
Teen
aren't-
Titans,
Titans
which
aren't
are
teens.
not
adult
teens.
Titans with ties to the pre-Flashpoint continuity.
Right.
Just to
And
confuse things still further. So Wally West from the DC Rebirth special that we all read, he's going to be in the Titans series.
and that's where they explore trying to find the missing time, the missing 10 years. That issue was actually really good. Titans
Now,
Rebirth.
do we think that the quote missing 10 years is really the old continuity?
I think so.
Because they're making it seem like it is. I mean, what do you guys think?
I absolutely think that.
Wait, say that again, Chris.
My question is, and I'm just asking for people's theories, this missing time of 10 years they've referred to in Rebirth, do we think that's really just the old DC continuity? Essentially.
Now, okay, define old DC continuity.
Well,
Pre-Flashpoint.
pre-Flashpoint.
Post Infinite Crisis, I guess.
All right, yeah.
He's going cross-eyed.
I don't know which is which anymore. There's so many.
Well, I didn't mean to make you go cross-eyed there, my friend. My thinking was because, as we know, time in a comic book universe moves much slower than in reality.
Sure.
So,
Well, and
go ahead.
It could also be Wally West's interpretation of what's missing. You know, he's saying 10 years is what it seems like. He really could be from another alternate Earth that he just doesn't know yet. You know, like Superman that's now in here is from pre-Flashpoint history, as is Wally West as far as we can tell, but that doesn't
Right.
necessarily mean that 10 missing years is from this new 52 reality. That could just be Wally West interpreting it as, well, I'm missing 10 years of time, but what he doesn't know is that he slipped through another universe the same as the other Superman.
Whew, okay.
Somebody. So I started this new job, right? And there's a lot of nerds at my job, which is awesome. And it got around that I knew some stuff about comics, right? And somebody had asked something about comics, and I was like, and it was a DC thing, and I was like, okay, well, there's Earth 1 and Earth 2, and that was like the very early continuity. Then there's pre-crisis, then there's post-crisis, then there were several more crises, and then there was a flashpoint, and now there's a whole new universe spinning up, and nobody really knows what's going on yet. And I was like, I don't know how to answer your question. It was like DC, and I just had this thought right now, like they really, really need to get their movie thing straightened out and firing on all cylinders in a good way, so that those of us who are like on the DC fence can just pull a Game of Thrones and say the books don't count. I'm only going by video continuity. Like the Game of Thrones now, if he ever releases more books, I will never read them because I don't care, because the show is the continuity now. Like it surpassed the printed material. And at this point, I would love if DC just gave me a cinematic universe that I could just say, hey, the books don't matter because I can't keep it straight. Oh.
I can appreciate that sentiment, sir. Although as a retailer, I don't know. I can't fully endorse it, but I do understand it.
I know. I'm with you. And as a comic fan, I want to like read a comic and have it matter, but I'm so confused.
Page 124. I thought of you, Hermerd. Raven #1, written by Marv Wolfman.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yep, the originator of the character, checking in with her in a 6-issue miniseries in post-Flashpoint /Rebirth time. So, we'll see. Allow me to jump backwards for a sec here, though.
Please.
Because there's one more Rebirth-related new release from DC we should mention. On pages 92 and 93, Cyborg is getting the Rebirth one-shot and the first issue of an ongoing series in this month. Both written by John Semper Jr. The Rebirth one-shot has some Paul Pelletier artwork in it. Always pricks up my ears. And the number one issue is drawn by Will Conrad. So it's a series about Vic Stone, Cyborg, another former Teen Titan, and it explores the classic science fiction question of man or machine with regards to Vic Stone and his sense of self.
Couple quick things. 106 and 107, I'm a little disappointed that the Batman titles already have a crossover going on.
Yeah.
Page 109, Green Arrow 6 and 7 features Shadow, which looks awesome.
Been featured earlier as well.
Well, I know, but that picture looks awesome and harkened back to Longbow Hunters for me.
Gotcha.
So I got excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah, this Night of the Monster Men Batman crossover is something we may be seeing a little more of in the future. It's just a way to keep these books on their twice-monthly schedules. It's the equivalent of a fifth-week event, I guess. It's just, gotta
Now, I'm sorry, Murray, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chris.
I'm just thinking of the outstanding Batman and the Monster Men miniseries by Matt Wagner,
Which was awesome.
and they did the Batman and was it the Mad Monk, which are both I highly recommend. They both take place early in Batman's history before he meets Robin.
Right, and they're both based on very early Golden Age Batman stories.
Yeah, they're awesome. So I recommend. They're in trade. I recommend those. I don't know if these are the same Monster Men here in this story or not. Because that was Hugo Strange, wasn't it, Murd? Wasn't Hugo Strange the architect of that?
I believe he was, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, I don't know. And, Shane, I do like that image of Shadow on page 109.
Yeah.
Longbow Hunters is a classic.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Chris, quick retailer question. These sort of these miniseries, crossover things that are like constantly happening. Do they work? Do people buy this crap or not?
Well, I can only go by our reservists since we don't do walk-in wall comics anymore. But yes and no. I mean, there are certain people, if they're big into Batman, they'll get all these. But I got to tell you, Brian, over the years, I see less and less people doing this. It's just too much money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I think, I definitely still have some customers who do, but not. It's definitely, I've seen that a decrease in that over the years. And also, I just think some people are just tired of this whole marketing approach. They've got some great creators involved in the story.
Mm-hmm. But still,
I just get frustrated because they interrupt the cadence of the story. Like, you'll be really into an X-Men story, and you just had like these 8 amazing issues, and it feels like you're just getting started, and then there's some stupid crossover thing. Or like this most recent Avengers thing that happened. What was it called? I don't know, whatever it was. And
Avengers Avenging.
There was some good stuff going on with Avengers, and then the crossover came out, and it was like mediocre at best.
You mean Standoff, Pleasant Hill, that whole thing.
Yeah. It was
okay.
It was nothing worth remembering, and now I forget what was happening in the story because you made me spend all this time reading this other stuff, and it's like, I think that's the thing that's most frustrating, is that it just interrupts what you're already enjoying. You don't have to make me enjoy it anymore. I already like it,
Well, I can only guess that these still work for them because they keep doing them. So I guess they're selling enough. I don't know. I mean, I understand like that Pleasant Hill Standoff story. In hindsight, really the whole point of that was basically to get Captain America to the point where he gets into this Hydra situation that's going on now in the Steve Rogers book. That was really the whole purpose of that story, essentially, as I interpret it. So. But yeah, I mean, for me, most of these crossovers I don't even read anymore, unless it's something huge like a Secret War, for example. But even there, I don't read any of the tertiary stuff. I just read the main story, and that's it. So,
boy, Chris, you went all Cylon there for a minute.
What's that?
You went all Cylon there with your voice for a second.
Did I really?
Yeah, just a split second.
Oh, fascinating.
Page 132 has yet another Wonder Woman 77 special, number 4. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, those are fun. I read we did the first one as an OTR. It was fun. Yeah, Shane, that Scooby-Doo just doesn't look like Scooby-Doo there.
I know. I even with that creative team, I just can't get into it.
It is a great creative team, though. Wow.
I can't get into Wacky Raceland, Flintstones. Ugh.
But we'll be talking soon about Future Quest #1.
Yes, we will. That is definitely the high spot of those titles.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that shortly when we catch up on our OTRs.
Here you go, Pants. If you need a nice bedtime story, page 137, Mad Magazine presents Goodnight Batcave. In the vein of Goodnight Moon.
Okay, I got you.
Shane, page 118, we got another issue of Scooby-Doo teaming up with some of the DC Universe's famous canines. We've got not only Crypto and Ace the Bat Hound, you've got Gnort, Wonder Dog from Super Friends, and the Space Canine Patrol Agency.
It's actually 130, page 138.
38. There we go. That does look good. I still get that title.
My kids absolutely love that book.
That's a great book.
Very glad to hear it. I love that book.
Well, we get the DCBS DC Kids comic bundle, so it's Scooby-Doo Team Up, Looney Tunes, and Teen Titans Go, like whenever they ship, right? So
I pulled back from doing that because my kids gave up reading, and I don't know why, Bugs Bunny and regular Scooby-Doo. Matt will ask for the Team Up. Ben will every now and then ask for the Teen Titans Go, so I kind of pared that down for now. If they start asking for the others, I'll get them again. But, yeah, I was disappointed when they said, well, I don't really read that right now.
And they absolutely fight over who gets to read Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur first.
Yeah.
On page 140, 141, some interesting trades coming out on page 141. Batman by Ed Brubaker, Volume 2. That's great stuff. Batman 598 to 607. Those are all. That's the time period. Like Brubaker's doing some Batman writing. Greg Rucka, all good stuff in there. Shane, you got another coloring book on page 142, The Flash.
I saw that.
Adult coloring book. And The Flash by Jeff Johns, Volume 3.
Boy, oh boy, if you people have those archived, the omnibus of them, look at eBay. Oh boy.
Really?
Oh, yes.
You mean the Jeff Johns hardcover omnibus?
Oh, yes.
What's it going for?
A lot.
Really?
What's a lot?
Yes. I'm not going to say that.
Oh, come on. Text me then.
That I will.
I want to know.
Fantastic, Shane.
Those are some awesome comics.
Yes, they are.
That's one of the series that I'm all butthurt about when Final Crisis came out, or 52 came out or whatever, and stopped that series. Like Teen Titans and Flash were like all cylinders, and then 52 came out, and then they just like evaporated, and then it never got back on track. So like I hate DC for wrecking Flash and Teen Titans for me, because those were so good.
Those were great runs.
Yeah.
We also have on page 143, Elseworlds, Batman Volume 2. This collects Batman and Dracula Red Rain, Batman Bloodstorm, and Batman Crimson Mist. So the Doug Monk, Kelly Jones, John Beatty, Batman as a Vampire stories.
Those are great as well.
Just in time for Halloween.
Yep. Shane, you were a fan of those, right?
Yes, I was.
Just don't ask Matt what he thinks of Kelly Jones' artwork.
The bat horns.
I will say they're a bit much, but they fit for those stories and his kind of style. I didn't mind them.
I didn't mind because it gave it that further creepy air that I liked, that I thought worked for it.
Sure.
Yeah, I loved it.
Page 144, Green Lantern, the Silver Age, Volume 1 trade paperback. So it seems like DC has left behind their Chronicles series.
I know. Piss me off.
And now they're kind of repackaging things in these larger editions, which are handsome. I mean, the Flash one that we have is beautiful. But the Chronicles I thought was a great concept, and it's also cheaper. But I mean, you're getting more story in these 320-page editions. So, and they're continuing to reprint on page 145 Chuck Dixon's Nightwing run, Volume 5, and then Superman: The Golden Age Omnibus, Volume 3 hardcover. So they're continuing to collect in a high quality hardcover format his early stories, and then we have the Man of Steel Volume 9.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Featuring a cameo by Mr. Mixes Pitlick. the introduction of the post-crisis Supergirl, and cameo by the Doom Patrol. Actually, a crossover with the Doom Patrol.
And actually, Murdo, I have a question for you. On page 148, they're putting now in a larger trade format Peter David's very well-received Supergirl run.
Mm-hmm. Some great Gary Frank art there in the first couple of issues.
Now, this is not... Is this the Angel Supergirl? Which Supergirl is this?
Okay, well, it's the same Supergirl introduced in that the Man of Steel trade we just talked about a second ago. It is that Supergirl, but Peter David throws a monkey wrench into it and introduces the idea that there's an angelic aspect to that version of Supergirl. So it's a shape-shifting blob of protoplasm from an alternate reality based on the genetic matrix of Lana Lang, but it's also an Earthborn angel. Simple.
Okay, so it's not so it's not Kara at all then.
No, it's no relation to Krypton whatsoever. Not Kara Zor-El at all.
Because Kara died in Crisis of Infinite Earths,
and subsequently simply never existed until the early 2000s when she was brought back.
Superman Batman cross series, yeah.
So this Peter David and Gary Frank series, I mean, it's not the best and most accessible thing that's ever been done with a Supergirl character, but it's good reading. You know, I fondly remember this series. I subscribed to it for a good long time. Still remember finding the first issue on a rack in a comic shop in Amherst, Massachusetts, during a college tour. And so that was So this is collecting the first 9 issues of that series and an annual and a couple of specials.
All right. Anybody else for DC, like DCU before going to Vertigo?
Page 146, there's a collection of the recently released Len Wein and Kelly Jones, there's that name again, Swamp Thing mini, The Dead Don't Sleep. So this is one of those rare occasions when I can say I don't even care what the miniseries is about, the creative team sells it.
Absolutely. I dig Kelly Jones' art, I really do. Especially on things like Swamp Thing.
Yeah, totally suits the character.
Yeah. And then they want to talk about it from the Vertigo section.
No.
I don't have anything in there.
So definitive. It's like all hope is lost for Vertigo when you said that.
No, just couldn't resist.
Anybody else have any comments on Vertigo?
That this Frostbite looks interesting.
Oh, written by Joshua Williamson.
Yeah, I mean, and the interior artist and the cover artist are the same, and that cover is beautiful. So if the interior looks like that.
There's also a new Fables offshoot, Ever After, from the pages of Fables #1. Written by Matthew Sturgis and Dave Justice, art by Travis Moore. So if you're a fan of that world, you may want to check that out.
On page
Go ahead, Murdo, I'm sorry.
On page 156, we've got a new edition of Neil Gaiman's Midnight Days, which is a
great collection.
Yep, some Neil Gaiman rarities and obscurities from early Vertigo days.
2 things that I recommend immediately. The Sandman Midnight Theater is amazing. That's where Morpheus meets the Golden Age Sandman, and it further goes into how Morpheus in dreams inspired Wesley Dodds to become the Sandman. It's a classic. And Hellblazer 27, the classic story Hold Me, that's one of the most moving comics I've ever read. I can't recommend that enough. That's all in the Midnight Days collection.
Swamp Thing Annual #5 reintroduces Brother Power the Geek. And damn it does it well.
I got to read that, Murdo. I've never read that story.
Oh, you must.
Yes. Shane, I thought of you a beautiful Flash statue on page 161.
Yes, it is. I don't know that I would get that one necessarily, though. His jaw looks a little bit, and his brow looks a little bit square for me.
Fair enough.
Plus,
that's coming out in January. That may appear as a Wild Pig auction item for a free comic book day.
I mean, it's definitely nice. Don't get me wrong, and I like that there's no super speed lines in it on his costume.
Because that was Manipul's original design in New 52, was it not?
I think so.
Yeah.
The next page, I would love to get these, but I'm not paying.
But it's $65
for Terry McGinnis and a Bruce Wayne and an Ace from Batman Beyond figure. They look great, but oof, yikes a hootie.
It's my line.
I know. Too bad you didn't say it.
Shane, why don't you hold forth on Revolution in the IDW section?
Okie dokie. Revolution is taking all kinds of great 80s classic cartoon concepts and making a new universe, and it all starts with Revolution. You have G.I. Joe, Transformers, you have Micronauts, ROM, and you have, for the first time in, gosh, it's got to be 31 years, something like that, Mask coming back.
Yes, for shame.
In a comic form. I know that Hasbro and Paramount, I think, are gearing all of these kind of properties to be movies down the road as well, bringing them all into a cohesive universe like Marvel and what DC's trying to do. I'm just excited to get anything Mask. I mean, it's been a long time since something original has been out.
Now, Shane, is there any talk of toys?
Oh, yes, there are. There was Toy
Okay.
Fair last year. I saw one slide that I found. Somebody had mentioned it on a forum somewhere. And the picture was these properties that are existing and new ones in development. And it was Micronauts and Mask were two of them. I forget what the other ones were. But, yeah, so Hasbro is looking to make new Mask toys as time goes on. I thought maybe by the end of this year we'd see them. I don't know. I haven't seen any
my
pictures
friend,
or prototypes or anything.
Considering your love for Mask, I'm very excited for you.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. That Mask Mobile Armor and Strike Command Revolution #1 is also our second pick. It's our independent pick from IDW.
Yes.
So page 168. Get that one issue. If nothing else, get that one issue. Don't let the rest. Don't let this one die too quick.
It's interesting that, like, the fact they're going to have characters like Micronauts, ROM, all kind of cross over.
Yeah.
I'm still holding out hope that Visionaries Knights of the Magical Light will be involved.
I know, right? Yeah.
That is one of those Hasbro franchises that I love the most.
And I forgot Action Man. Action Man's in there too.
Oh, right, Action Man. God. Wow.
Yep. That's another money pit right there. That, Mask toys, if they come out, I may buy a toy for the first time in quite a while.
I'd be surprised if you didn't. Page 175, a new Star Trek anthology. Stories all across the various Star Trek realities, essentially. So the first one, a story from Next Generation, a story from the original series. So I might check that out. Yeah. Obviously, I'm looking forward to the movie coming out in a few weeks. Kind of damned by the horrible way the actor who plays Chekhov passed away.
You're not kidding.
Oh my God.
Devastating.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to seeing the film. And I thought he was great as Chekhov, too.
I did, too.
So I read that.
I'll be curious to see if they just recast him or if they, write his character out of the series somehow, because everybody knows what happened in Star Trek. Castings and stuff always seem like family, and there's a strong tradition and stuff. So
yeah.
it seems to me unlikely that they would just be like, we got a different Chekhov now.
I agree with that.
I think that's a good point, Brian. Plus, are they going to make more movies after this one? I don't even know if they are.
Well, there's talk of a fourth one because they said in the next one, the character of Sulu will now come out as gay.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a big article about that last week.
Oh, wow. Like in this film or the fourth movie?
The fourth one.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a great tip of the hat to George Takei.
So there's the controversy there is George Takei himself said he thought it was unfortunate because having known and worked with Gene Roddenberry and stuff, he knew that Gene was a big LGBT supporter, but like the characters didn't need to. You have to read how he worded it because obviously he can speak from the heart because he's both gay and knew Gene Roddenberry, right? But Simon Pegg is one of the writers, and he's one of the writers who wrote the character to be gay. And so he said, well, I think it's unfortunate that, Gene was at a time when the world wasn't quite ready, and, why can't a Star Trek here? We have all races and colors and everything. Why can't we also have all sexualities, right? So he made some good points as well. So I don't know what to make of it. Right?
It was an interesting article. It was well put by both.
Wait, was Takei opposed to this?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, forgive me. Based on what? I missed
Gene
that.
Roddenberry's initial vision was not that Sulu was gay.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Well, I can kind of see both sides of that argument, but and That's interesting. I'll have to read that article.
Yeah, look, do a search. It was well worth time.
I have great respect for George Takei, just as an activist. He's also he's a great sense of humor. I've really enjoyed articles he's written and when he's spoken out on various issues. Plus, his feud with Shatner is just, I just think is enormously entertaining. In fact, when I told you I went to see Shatner speak.
Yeah.
When he, there was one scene like where the crew came up and he said something like, George. And then he just moved on. Oh, man. I also want to put on page 180.
That's
Bloom
what I was going
County,
next, too.
episode 11.
Yeah. Have you been following him on Facebook?
Not at all, actually.
He's had all of these daily, almost, of new Bloom County strips on his Facebook page.
And how long has he been doing this?
Oh, a year?
Wow. Because the original Bloom County was brilliant.
Oh, yes. That is by far my favorite newspaper strip ever.
And just looking at the strips they have here, he's attacking Scientology, so that's good.
Well, they go through a whole Trump thing with the elections going on. It's a riot to read Bloom County again.
Yeah, Berkeley Breathed was one of those who was lining up to make fun of Trump in the 80s.
Oh,
and
yes.
It's another shot.
I think in one of the strips, I can't remember when it was, but he makes reference to that.
Now, forgive me, I'm speaking out of ignorance here. Is that the creator's real name, or is that a pseudonym?
As far as I know, that's his real name. I don't know. I've never read anything to say
Okay.
otherwise.
Just curious. I'm sure people on the forums can help me out with that. Also wanted to check out on page 185, Who Killed Kurt Cobain? The story of Boda. That sounds very interesting. A fictionalized telling of Cobain's life through the eyes of his imaginary friend. So, I was always a big Nirvana fan. And is there anything else for IDW that I want to talk about?
Only on 191, Jack Kirby pencils
Oh,
and inks.
Shane, you beat me to the punch. Well done.
That is a great concept. I've seen over the years, the photocopies of his arts, pencils, but to see them side by side, and for the first issues of Demon, Commandy, and OMAC, that's pretty good. It's
sure is.
It's a $49.99 cover price, and of course I think it's like 35% off of DC. But but then the next two pages, I loved America's Best Comics, the anthology that they put out.
Yeah, I did too.
But the art on it, I mean, Gene Ha with the top 10, looking for those like Easter eggs in all of his work was I just
painstaking.
But it was well worth.
Oh, yes, it was.
It must be footnoted one day.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We talked about that at some point, doing that. Yeah. And then you get Kevin Nolan artwork, which is gorgeous. Promethea, J.H. Williams III. Oh, and then Arthur Adams. That was a heaven.
That was really
I
something.
love that series and all these things. And now they're putting Arthur edition out, so put up one of your auctions there, Chris, and we'll talk later.
That was my next question. Are you going to buy this?
I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy it.
Although the previous one, $49.99, is not bad for that.
It's not bad at all.
Not at all.
Especially then with the discount of whatever you said, 35 or something.
I'll definitely be getting that Kirby one for myself.
Yeah.
So, outstanding.
Yeah, it's $32.49 through DCBS.
Shane, did you watch Samurai Jack when it was on?
I did.
Yeah, that was a great show.
That
On
was a
page
great
190,
show.
they have Tales of the Wandering Warrior. So, all 20 issues of the Samurai Jack comic book series are collected in this massive compendium.
Oh, that's nice. I missed that.
Yeah. I know Bill. We carried that. Bill would order that in the shop. We carried. Some people were definitely picking it up every month. I heard it was very good. I didn't read it myself, but
What page was that?
that is on
198.
page 198. I thought the cartoon had a great visual style to
Oh,
it.
it absolutely did.
Yeah.
Plus, it came right before Batman, or Batman Beyond something, or right after. Man, I was hooked. I would do the old kid thing, man. I'd get my bowl of cereal in my jammies, and I would not move from that TV until all of cartoons I liked were done. That was a great run.
He's just so cuddly, ladies and gentlemen, isn't he?
Yeah, in a dorm room at Penn State, Shane, I was doing exactly the same thing.
Excellent.
An image. I'm going to jump ahead to this, and then we can jump back because I got very excited when I saw this on page 210. Hadrian's Wall 1 of 8 by the team that brought you Cal, which I thought was a magnificent series about a superhero labor union in Chicago in the early 60s.
Ice cream!
Here they're doing a science fiction series. I'm totally in on this. Wow, because Cal was tremendous. Jamie D loved Cal. He read I remember I read the first few issues of that.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm going to definitely check out.
I want a boogie bar.
7 to Eternity #1 on page 204, new Rick Remender effort.
Yep, I'm looking forward to that. I'd like to see his. He's done a lot of successful science fiction series. I want to see his take on straight up fantasy.
I'll check that out.
Jerome Pena is so good.
What else from Image, gentlemen?
On page 217, Red 1 #3, I missed that there were previous issues coming out again of this. I have the hardcover of Volume 1, and I loved it.
Oh, I forgot about this book. Okay. This is about the Soviet woman, right? Is that...
Yep. Spy,
Right.
Soviet spy.
It comes to the United States and basically becomes a real-life Linda Carter Wonder Woman. Wants to win the hearts of cheesecake-starved American populace and thereby give the Soviet Union a foothold here in North America. So, with art by the Dodsons. So,
And Shane, you read this?
Yeah, I loved the first volume.
So this is the second volume that we're looking at here, then.
I believe
Okay.
so.
I'll have to read the first one. I love that concept. That's a great idea.
Oh, and I was reading the solicit, and it says new story arc. So yeah, but I'll wait. I'll have to wait because I have Volume 1. I want Volume 2.
A book I must have missed in the last previews on page 221, The Black Monday Murders by Jonathan Hickman. I love that art noir style they're showing us here. I'll have to backtrack and try to get them issue 1 of that.
I'll give a shout-out on page 208 and 209, Glitter Bomb #1, which is written by Jim Zub, who's writing Thunderbolt for Marvel right now, and also wrote that Samurai Jack comic that we just mentioned is being collected. And it's kind of a creepy supernatural revenge fantasy. The story of an aging actress who's possessed by some kind of otherworldly entity that allows her to wreak vengeance on the terribly sexist and ageist institutions of Hollywood that are rejecting her. So that's a story whose time has come, I believe.
On page 237, Bill's excited about the coming of Snot Girl.
I can't get into that.
No.
The creator of Scott Pilgrim. This is his new effort. So, if you're a
just
fan of
grosses me
Scott
out.
Pilgrim, you want to check that out. Remember we panned The Discipline a few months back. On page 243, the first trade is out of issues 1 through 6. If somebody wanted to give that another try and see what the first arc was like, there you go.
It is $9.99 and bound to be cheaper at dcbservice.com.
Yep.
Just to see what exactly had us all hot and bothered about that. Now's your chance to do it cheap.
It's half off. It's only $4.99.
And then Shane, on page 251, there's a Walking Dead coloring book. God,
That would be
all
gross.
the companies are getting in on this
Oh,
trend
yes,
here.
they are.
It's a license to print money.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Even my great-grandmother, she was just over for one of my kids' birthdays for like a family party. She colored in various animals for everybody, like all the daughters, all her granddaughters, and then all of her grandkids. All got one. Very intricate. They're very beautiful.
You said great-grandmother.
Great-grandmother. Their great-grandmother.
I
My
was gonna say.
grandmother-in-law, but my boy's great-grandmother.
Wow.
She said she was up to 1 o'clock the other night coloring them in. But they look fantastic.
It's a clever marketing idea because we all grew up coloring.
Oh,
So-
absolutely.
all right, to move on to Marvel?
Sure.
To Marvel, then. Where we land hip deep in Civil War II.
I think it's the first 37 pages. Anybody have anything in that other than the quagmire of Civil War going on?
Well, just to remind our listeners, when we do our OTR catch-up in the near future, we will be talking about Civil War issue 0 and issue 1. So we'll give our thoughts on that. I do want to point out how much I'm still enjoying Captain America's Sam Wilson. I think Nick Spencer's doing a wonderful job with that title, really establishing Sam Wilson as a very different Captain America in many ways, although he's still very cognizant of the legacy he's trying to live up to. And he's bringing a lot of elements of Captain America's past, like Grunwald stuff, like demolition, not Demolition Man. God, D-Man and the
yeah.
Americops. What's that, Mert?
Oh, well, you were actually right both times, Chris, because the D in D-Man stood for demolition. So.
Oh, I got lost in the thickets of this Sylvester Stallone Wesley Snipes movie for a moment there in my head. But,
Oh God, I watch that every time it's on.
the only moment that I can remember is when he's outraged that they don't have actual toilet paper anymore in the future. Only these shells are supposed to use.
Yeah. Oh, it's. I shouldn't say it every time, but when it's on and I have time, man, I'll sit down and just laugh.
But Sam Wilson's very good, and for those people who panicked after Captain America: Steve Rogers #1, if you read issue 2, and I won't spoil it, there is an explanation as to why he said "Hail Hydra" at the end of issue 1. So check that out. So go ahead.
I would say I like on page 43 the solicit for the penultimate issue of The Vision. At the very end, it says, "The end is coming for the most critically acclaimed book of the year, and no one is safe. Don't miss the issue everyone will be talking about. Also, Hail Hydra."
Well, that, again, the trade is out of the first arc. I cannot recommend this series enough. As much as I've admired Tom King, everything I've read by him that he's written, I think this is his finest work thus far that I've read in terms of his comic book work. When I think of what Marvel should be doing, this is the series I think of. This series is cutting edge. It's innovative. It does not disregard history. In fact, Tom King goes to great pains to bring all of the Vision's history into this series
In detail.
Exactly, Mert. So it's a masterstroke of respecting and utilizing continuity to tell what is a new and very innovative, in many ways, very disturbing take on the Vision. This series is amazing. I cannot recommend it enough.
I think between Tom's The Vision and Doctor Strange are just out of this world, both of them.
Those, and I would also put The Mighty Thor up there as another one of the top books Marvel's producing.
It's so good.
And Silver Surfer as well.
Oh, God, Pants, thank you. I was remiss in not mentioning that. I mean, did you guys see the cover of the last Silver Surfer issue?
I'm sure I saw a refresh
sure,
memory
at some
about what it is.
Okay, well, it's the 50th anniversary, so
that's right.
Yes.
the whole cover is comic book creators.
Oh, that's
So
right. That's
you have
right.
to, like, you can go in there and try to pick out all the different, like, you can clearly see Lee and Kirby, for example.
Correct, yeah.
But, like, the whole crowd, I think Neil Gaiman's in there. You see Steranko in, like, his 60s hair with the sunglasses. It's a fantastic cover. But, yeah, that series also is just such a breath of fresh air, the Silver Surfer. Great stuff. Let's go to page 65 in our Marvel Off the Rack. I'm really excited about this.
Go ahead.
Doctor Strange, Annual 1, The Return of Clea, who is not, I don't think she's been in Doctor Strange continuity for a while. I'm looking forward to her return, and it looks like it's not going to be a walk in the park, as they say here, for Steven when she comes back. So, Mer, do you remember how they parted? Because I haven't read, I know she was in the 90s series. Do you recall, or?
Not at all, Chris. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's probably in the future for me.
Fair enough.
It happened after 2003. I don't know about it.
Well, I'm not sure if she's even been seen since that time period. Frankly,
She was a part of the
forms.
She was in the Order. Clea and her Dark Dimension allies were an important part of that series. So
Okay.
I don't think they were estranged just yet at that point.
Okay, maybe that was the last time we saw her then. Someone on the forums can help us out if necessary. But anyway, this is our third OTR. If this is not being done by Jason Aaron, it's Catherine Imam and Robbie Thompson are writing. Leonardo Romero is the artist. I kind of wish Aaron was writing it. Nothing against Catherine Imam, because Aaron's just doing such a magnificent job on the main series. I was hoping to see his take on Clea, but all the same, it's a self-contained, and I'm looking forward to reading it, and that'll be our third OTR.
So on page 47, just something of interest to Spider-Man fans. Amazing Spider-Man number 18, we finally get a little bit of closure as to the fate of the mind of Dr. Octopus.
Yes.
So those of you who enjoyed that extended Superior Spider-Man period, when Peter Parker finally got his own body back, what happened to Dr. Octopus's mind, which had been inhabiting that body? It went into the classic Spider-Man Ditko-designed opponent, the robotic living brain. So Dan Slott's going to give us the upshot of all that, which is apparently also going to lead into Spider-Man crossover doings later on in the year. So that's going to be a key issue to pick up.
And the Living Brain was used heavily in Superior Spider-Man, if I remember correctly.
You do. I think he was actually
Right,
part of the Sinister Six. The version of the Sinister Six that was running around at that time, which I guess morphed into the superior foes of Spider-Man.
But wasn't the Living Brain also a servant to the Octavius Spider-Man, though?
Yes, that's right. He was.
Okay, that's
right
what I thought.
after he got him away from whatever version of the Sinister Six was running around at that time.
If you're a Silver Age fan of Spider-Man, if you haven't read the Living Brain's appearance, I want to say it's Spider-Man 8. That's a classic issue. That's great Lee Ditko, including Peter Parker beating up Flash Thompson in a boxing ring. So definitely check that out. What else for Marvel, gentlemen, in terms of the regular issues?
Well, I'm not unhappy to have a smaller month in the Star Wars titles. While I'm loving them, it is nice to just have 3 issues for a change.
Yeah,
four if you count
Vader series, but at least it's not double shipping every other month anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we mentioned every month, those stories have been magnificent. I'm really enjoying the Poe Dameron series.
Yep.
It's just a great adventure. Star Wars 23, apparently the Rebels get their hands on a Star Destroyer. That should be interesting.
Oh, wow.
That they've stolen. The Han Solo series has been really fun so far, the first 2 issues of that. I can't praise this stuff enough.
I expected it to be not good because it's licensed property, and but it's some of the best comics on the market.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I agree wholeheartedly, my friend. Page 99.
99.
This is Doctor Strange Epic Collection, A Separate Reality. This is a great collection. The Epic Collections, they're expensive, but you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. It's also in color. So these are like Marvel's... I'd see these as replacing the Marvel Essentials line, essentially. But here you have the classic Doctor Strange 180, 183 when he took over the Strange Tales numbering. His appearance in Submariner 22, which helped lead to the Defenders. Hulk 126, which also helped lead to the Defenders. Marvel Feature 1, the first appearance of the Defenders. Marvel Premiere 33-14. And then the classic Frank Brunner, Steve Englehart, Doctor Strange 1 through 5 from the early 70s. That's a great collection. Mert, any comments on that?
No, not immediately. I noticed Silver Dagger is involved. It's a kind of a cool villain. Plus, lots of cosmic things with Eternity and the Undying Ones.
Yeah, it's a great
Shula
collection.
Borath. Oh, geez.
So if you're a fan of Doctor Strange, especially the Bronze Age period, this is a collection you definitely should pick up.
All right, so check out the page before that, 2 pages before that, which would be 96 and 97, is the second volume of the current Doctor Strange series. If you haven't gotten the issues, pick up the volume. If you go to page 100 and 101, page 101 is a color your own Doctor Strange. Then you flip the page to 102, and there is a digest-sized Doctor Strange book coming out.
Wow, it's as though there was some sort of theatrical Doctor Strange production coming up down the road.
Yeah, they're really hitting you over the head with it.
that.
Now, flip to page 104 and 105, and you have what could be, I didn't read the blurb yet, but what looks like a great collection from the Dark Horse run, the Legacy stuff of Star Wars.
How was Legacy, Shane? I never read that.
I read the first 2 volumes of the first series of Legacy, and I loved it. I have them all. I liked it so much that I kept getting the trades, so I would have them all.
And page 107 completes the outstanding Darth Vader series in trade, which will be ending in the next few months. That's issues 20 through 25. I can't praise this series enough.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Chris, episode 520 of CGS Book of the Month Club, Star Wars Legacy Reborn.
Oh!
First 2 volumes? Or just the first one?
No, like just the first volume.
Okay.
Don't you love when Pants, like as the CGS archaeologist, just goes through all the layers and just unearths?
You didn't hear the Indiana Jones?
I got nothing else going on. I'm looking at the computer here.
The Indiana Jones music played here when he started digging through.
Terrific. Anything else from Marvel, my friends?
No, are there any posters in the back that have no art? Oh, yes, there are. Oh, well, it says Marvel Now Fall 216 preview. There's no art, just the Marvel Now.
You got to look at page number 124, Chris. We can't leave this section of the catalog without...
I almost forgot. Merd, well done. We actually talked about this when we did the Black Panther Spotlight because we knew it was coming down the pike. So this is long overdue. They're putting in an epic collection. Merd, thanks for reminding me. That was shameful of me that I'd forgotten about this.
Oh, my pleasure.
Jungle Action 6/24, the entire Don McGregor, Rich Buckler, Billy Graham run, which we talked about at length in our Black Panther Spotlight. Again, this is one of the great runs of the Bronze Age. Many consider this, in many ways, the first sort of graphic novel in floppy form. Again, there's no Black Panther without this stuff, because... And they also reprint, I'm glad they did in this selection, Fantastic Four 52 and 53, so the first appearance by Lee and Kirby, which McGregor wonderfully builds upon. And this, if you're a Black Panther fan, if you're interested in the history, this is a story you have to read. Highest recommendation. In fact, I'll share with the listeners, after we recorded that spotlight and posted it, someone put it on put the video version, I think, on Don McGregor's Facebook page, and he wrote me an email and thanked us for, talking about acknowledging his contributions to Black Panther. What a wonderful and classy email he sent us. So, yeah. What we do here matters, folks. So I just wanted to reiterate that it was. One of the highlights of all my years being involved with the show in various forms, that email was very much a highlight. And the next page, another great epic collection, just total Bronze Age, early 80s goodness. Power and Iron Fist Volume 2. 71 to 72 and 74 to 89, including the issue 75, the classic Return to Kunlun story. Just great. Just great. And Murd, this is for you, page 127. Son of Satan, classic trade paperback.
Yeah, this one did catch my eye, Chris. He's described as like the world's best dressed exorcist. So yeah, this is 70s supernatural camp at its finest. So we have some stories written by Chris Claremont, some by Jerry Conway, some by the great Steve Gerber. One of your favorites, Bill Mantlo, gets his hand in there, and... Oh, wow, Jim Mooney artwork. He's done stuff for Marvel from time to time, better known for his DC, like Supergirl and I think Dial H runs. But he apparently did some time on Damon Hellstrom, though. And so this is just a silly Bronze Age monster mashing. And, I might actually give that, since this is, again, just on sale October, it's good Halloween read. Last year I bought Marvel's collection of their Frankenstein monster comics, so maybe I'll pick this one up this year. Thank you for bringing it up, Chris.
Of course, my friend. I wanted to return the favor after you reminded me of Jungle Action. Well, Shane, if you're interested, you can get the Clone Saga again. On page 128, a new printing. I guess it's still in demand.
Yeah.
So...
Well, it's apparently going to become relevant again pretty soon, because there's a teaser ad... Like on the second page of the catalog here, revealed at last, Dead No More, The Clone Conspiracy, beginning in October. 5-issue Spider event.
Wow. Well, if Dan Slott's involved, I'll give that a try.
Oh, he is.
All right, that's reassuring. Fred Hembeck fans at page 130. The Marvel Universe according to Hembeck trade paperback. So, Fred Hembeck's been a guest at some events I've run. He's a really nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
All right, anything else for Marvel?
I think we've drained it dry.
All right. Let's go to the rest of the book.
The rest of the book.
Page 264.
Yep, first thing.
Go ahead.
Here. Well, no, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Fucker.
Watch your language.
Cerebus in Hell number 0. Tell me that's not 40 years ago. Holy smokes.
What?
1977 to 2017. That's crazy.
Yeah.
One issue. I don't know. It's just a special.
It's the first new Cerebus comic since 2004, and it leads into the Cerebus in Hell 4-issue miniseries.
2017. That's awesome.
Now, Mr. Deemer is going to chastise me, deservedly so, because I always say this: I have yet to read Cerebus.
I don't even have the words, Chris.
Did you hear the air intake into his nostrils?
I haven't completed all of it. I have to go back and try to get on track with that again in one of many things I want to read through in life.
It's great comics.
I mean, do I even need
to mention? Reading history, that's a terrible omission.
And, of course, I have to mention that we recorded several of the... what do you call those big books there? The collections. The phone books. The phone books with Dave Sim. We talked about a couple of them. Church and State. Yeah, Jacka's Story. Yeah.
The Aftershock studio continues to release new series with pretty big creators. Paul Jenkins has a new series called Alters Number 1. The only one I read was the Garth Ennis Dreaming Eagles, which is a magnificent tribute to the Tuskegee Airmen of World War II. I think it's one of the best war comics Ennis has yet to produce. But this company, I don't know anything about them, but they keep coming out with new stuff. I know I have Captain Kidd coming to me because Mark Wade's writing that with Tom Pryor. So, what else, gentlemen?
I'm up on page 221 in American Mythology for Pink Panther, Trick or Pink.
281.
Okay.
Trick or Pink.
My kids, I had a DVD of some old ones. They used to watch when they were much younger. They enjoyed those.
I've got a great Pink Panther collection. I think it's 4 or 5 discs long that my kids watched over and over again. I think recently we saw where there was an Inspector one coming, and I want to get that. I missed the Ant and the Aardvark, too. I wish they would come out. Ant! Hey, Ant!
Fantastic.
Page 2... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, sir. You go ahead.
Well, I'm up on page 290 for Josie and the Pussycats.
That's where I was going to go. Go
Okay.
for it.
Lots of neat covers. Very excited to read this. I am a huge Josie and the Pussycats fan. Love the cartoon. I'm going to get this and read it. What I hope as the series continues, I want one episode, like a Halloween episode or an annual, where they're just dreaming or talking about something and they end up Josie and the Pussycats in outer space. That would be the bee's knees for just an issue. Just something off the wall with the little gloopy kid creature. I think it was called Gleep. But yeah, I'm excited about that.
Okay, jump into page 300 from Black Mask Studios. Okay, here's a comic that resulted from a very successful Kickstarter campaign. It's called Black Number 1, written by Kwanzaa Osajefo, with art by our good friend Jamal Igle. And it's the comic that, in this turbulent socio-political climate, dares to ask the question, what if only black people had superpowers?
Oh.
In fact, the main character of this story discovers he has superpowers when he survives being shot by police officers. So expect this one to be politically charged, but still quite entertaining, I'm sure. And like I said, it's Jamal's artwork, so I'm definitely going to buy the first issue.
Well, considering what's going on in our country right now in terms of the tension involving police shootings on both sides, this should be an interesting book, to say the least. Check out on page 304 Skyborn from Boom, re-illustrated by Frank Cho.
Yeah, it looks nice.
This sounds really interesting. Indiana Jones meets James Bond with fantasy elements thrown in. Cho describes it as one of the most cinematic stories I've envisioned. The legend of King Arthur is alive and well in modern day. Only one man, Skyborn, can stop the evil Merlin from destroying the world. Wow. I love Arthurian stuff, so I'm going to check this out.
Yeah.
Frank Cho, Liberty Meadows, is that Frank Cho?
Yep.
You betcha.
Okay. Should I look on page 308, The Official Art of Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah, I thought they had that out before. Maybe that was something with the movie specifically. No, I think this was it.
I just love that this B cult film still has legs in terms of this stuff. It's fantastic.
It was just on the other night, and I posted about it, and people replied back about liking it or not seeing it or whatever. That's a great movie. On the previous page, 307, Jim Henson's Labyrinth Tales hardcover. If you just want more Labyrinth stuff, give that a try.
Again, $17 for a 48-page comic, though.
Yeah, that's
hardcover or not.
That's the hard part.
What else, gentlemen?
There's on 311. There's Klaus hardcover.
Yeah, I didn't read that. I think I had the first issue somewhere, but I did not read it.
Yep, Grant Morrison's take on sort of a barbarian origin story for Santa Claus, with its roots in was it Viking mythology and Siberian shamanism? I think I read some. Yeah, right there it is. And you know what? This is a story that I will read, but only when I find it in trade paperback in a discount bin for $5 someplace. Not before.
Fair enough, my friend.
Page 315 on the top has Mouse Guard Legends of the Guard box set. First, I don't know why. If you're missing these, get this. That's great. But if you've not gotten these, I don't know why you haven't, because they're fabulous. But yeah, it's nice to have a box set of them.
And we mentioned last month, Merv, wasn't Dave Peterson doing? What was he working on that you're really excited about?
Oh, a new illustrated edition of Kenneth Graham's *The Wind in the Willows*.
That's right. Okay.
Through IDW.
That's right.
Also on that same page, my girls really liked Abigail and the Snowman by Roger Langridge. Sorry.
On page, I'm jumping into 336. If you're a video game fan, this is interesting. The Art of Atari hardcover.
Yeah, that is interesting, right?
That is.
They had some epic artwork for some really crappy games.
They sure did. You stare at that at the store and go, man, that's got to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it looks like it's got a pretty good amount of history pages in it as well, which could very well be quite interesting to read.
Now, is the Atari company totally defunct?
No.
Okay.
No, they've actually done some things recently. They actually had an iPhone thing recently, and because the guy who started Atari is still alive, still involved.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm jumping ahead. This is just a fun multimedia thing. On page 349, Red Sonja pint glasses with Frank Thorne art. Those look really cool. Just don't put them in the dishwasher because the art will come right off them.
Oh.
On page 351, the second issue of the new Battlestar Galactica series has an alternate cover with a Muppet action figure. I had that action figure.
Oh, that's the robot Daggett.
Yeah.
Okay.
His tail broke off, and I lost track of him. Of all the things I still have, I don't have that figure anymore.
I want to mention on page 353, Warren Ellis continues to knock it out of the park with his James Bond series. That has been awesome so far. And if you're a Bond fan, it's just that suave but extremely ruthless take on James Bond. More of that sort of that Daniel Craig feel.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that series.
I
Really well
have
done.
the first arc, or at least the first 6 or 7 issues, if that was the first arc. I stopped getting the issues until I can sit down and read it. But if you say it's good, that's a pretty good...
I cannot recommend it enough, my friend. Has Craig said he's not doing Bond again, or is that not clear yet?
He said that. Yes.
Yeah, I thought that
they
was
offered
done.
him an enormous sum of money, and he turned it down because he just doesn't want to do it again.
Yeah, I think he said he'd rather shoot himself in the head than play Bond again.
Yeah, I mean, it was outrageous. It was like £40 million or some
Oh my God.
insane. Yeah, it was just like, I guess he doesn't want to do it.
Wow.
I thought he was a tremendous James Bond.
I did
Oh
too.
yeah.
And I liked how, if he's going to end it, I like how the fourth movie wrapped up and ended, and he can walk away with pretty much a complete story in those 4 movies.
That's true. But
I would have loved to see him again.
absolutely. Let's see what else here. If you're a 374 Fantagraphics, Love and Rockets Comics Volume 4, Number 1. I have never read Love and Rockets.
No, neither have I.
Just a couple issues for me. It never really did anything for me.
I know it has a hell of a reputation in terms of the world of independent comics, so it's something I should try it someday. But because I think that goes back to the 80s, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah.
Love and Rockets. So let's see here. New Overstreet on page 382.
I was up on
You
3.
get either a Power Girl or a Harley Quinn cover.
Oh, the Harley Quinn cover will sell for sure. Wow.
And these are looks like they're by Amanda Connor. Yes, they are. Okay.
On 393 under Joe Books, there was a Disney Darkwing Duck number 6 with a black and white. I thought, oh boy, are they doing a color Darkwing Duck now? It's just not final.
On page 390, under humanoids, we've got an interesting-looking creature feature that might actually be thought-provoking. It's called Carthago. It's a 260-page hardcover graphic novel about the discovery of a prehistoric megalodon, or a giant 80-foot shark. If you're looking for kind of a Jaws advanced in comic book form, that's kind of an interesting proposition.
I remember years ago when I lived with Jamie Hatton. He's a big lover of like B films and genre movies. He brought home this movie called Megalodon, which was hilarious because it was like Megalodon basically attacking people like an oil rig platform or something. But
when was this movie made, Chris? Do you know?
Let's see. So we would have watched that, I'll say, in the 2000s. So somewhere in that area.
It's a 2004 American shark film.
There you go.
It takes place out on a deep sea oil rig.
Yep. Jamie would have these B-movie viewing parties, and that was one of his best choices, I thought. So,
Thank you, Pans, for the archivism there.
of course. What else, gentlemen?
Up on 406 under Magnetic Press is Little Tales Volume 1 In the Forest and Little Tales Volume 2 In the Jungle. Kid-friendly, Chipper and Squizzo are the two characters exploring wildlife. Looks cute.
We should also mention on page 406 from Locust Moon Press, the lost work of Will Eisner graphic novel. These never-before-seen strips see the young Eisner's imagination expanding as he experiments the possibilities of serialized storytelling and works with his numerous influences. The mid-1930s comic strips Uncle Otto and Harry Carey.
On page 424, under Rebellion 2000 AD, is 2000 AD Program 2000.
Wow. What? 2000th weekly issue.
Yippers. 48-page special.
It all comes back to this.
They got some heavy hitters in that book, too.
On page 412, something coming out from Oni Press that I'll definitely be giving a try. It's written and drawn by Ted Naife. It's called Knight's Dominion, #1, and it appears to be sort of a Dungeons & Dragons style heist story. Looks like it a little reminiscent of Robert L. Asprin's old Thieves' World anthologies, actually, of which I became a fan just within the last couple of years. And the Ted Naife's Princess Ugg. Oh, wait a minute. I read that from Oni Press recently, and it was about a barbarian princess who goes to a finishing school for fairy tale princesses, and it ensues. It was a great fun series, and I think I'm definitely going to be trying Knight's Dominion as well.
I'm on, let's see, page, in the Titan section. Page, forgive me, there's no page numbers, of course. It's the James Bond Dr. No. They're reprinting the classic comic strip collection.
Look on 455.
Oh, is that where they break it down a little bit more?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I like how Titan does a lot of these books where they return to properties they have a license of, and they go back to the original strips. I just think it's a great thing they do here. So these are the early James Bond comic strips written, based on Ian Fleming's stories. So you've got Casino Royale, Live and Let Die, Moonraker, Diamonds Are Forever, From Russia with Love, and Dr. No. So if you're a Bond fan, you want to check that out. And below that, they a revised edition of the Marvel Vault. This is a cool concept. Anybody ever have the Marvel Vault?
I don't have the Marvel one. I have Star Wars, Batman, and DC, I think.
So that, as you know, Shane, that they have like facsimiles of artifacts, basically, from the history of the company. They're great. They're great histories, and Roy Thomas is involved, so you know it's good because he was there for the whole thing when it was happening. So anything he's involved in, I automatically endorse and recommend people buy. Page 460 again tomorrow. So I have to mention the great offers they have. Alter Ego 143, Jack Kirby Collector 69.
On that same page, we've got a Neil Gaiman adaptation of Hansel and Gretel coming out from Toon Graphics.
Oh, wow. Wow. Next page, the incredible Herb Trimpe hardcover, which I have. Wonderful retrospective of Trimpe's career. Unfortunately, he passed away shortly before this book actually came out, although I'm pretty sure he was involved in its creation. It's a great retrospective. I can't recommend that enough. And a great modern masters we're offering, the great Mike Ploog, who did a lot of great Marvel horror work in the 70s. Swamp Thing, Werewolf by Night, Ghost Rider, Man-Thing. I'm sorry, Man-Thing, not Swamp Thing. That's a great Modern Masters edition.
He was also one of the concept designers for 1985's Return to Oz film.
Ah.
So if this book makes mention of that, I'll be much gratified.
That's right. He does do a lot of constant storyboard work. I think that's what he's done in the future after he got out of comics, more or less.
Right.
Up in
I'm going to look back at page 456 here. There's actually a couple things from Tokyo Pop that I found interesting. There's a manga adaptation of Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. That is being released in a hardcover edition, black and white, of course, through Tokyo Pop. And at the bottom of that page, almost hidden, Shane, this might interest you, 3 volumes, 192 pages each, of a comic called I Love Halloween, written by Keith Giffen.
Huh.
Oh, wow.
Misadventures of a bunch of very ugly children as they play horrible pranks on Halloween night.
Huh, that's interesting.
It's going to have that sick Giffen sense of humor.
Up on 466 and 467 in the Valiant section is Exo Man of War number 50. 50 artists draw 50 Exo Man of Wars for the cover.
Wow.
Wow.
64-page special.
That art is probably going to sell for rather a lot of money.
Yeah.
I can't imagine everybody drew on it. I have to admit, I got to think there's a lot of digital stuff on there.
Oh, I see.
Could very well be.
I can't imagine people, I get your point, Murd, but yeah, I don't think it's actual original art on that.
I'm jumping ahead to page 498 in the book section. First of all, I want to really salute all the kids' content we have in these 2 pages. Batman Classic, I Am Batman, a Batman Choose Your Own Adventures, a book sort of explaining the world of Superman, Bedtime for Batman picture book, The Colorful Story of Comics. I'm always pleased to see books like this that are geared towards young readers. And on the top of that, this may interest you, Shane. The story of the Phantom, the Avon novels. I was just reading in the latest back issue. Forgive me, I don't have the number handy in front of me, but it's a wonderful issue because one of the articles goes into the whole history of novelizations of comic book characters, and like in the 1960s and 70s and 80s and 90s. And they talk about the Avon novels and how they would adapt the pulp characters like the Phantom. So
Nice.
that's really cool.
Yeah, Matt might even be interested in that one.
Yeah. In fact, one more thing. I'm sorry. Forgive me, Murd. That same issue of back issue, and Mr. Weatherton can remind us of the number, as I forgot, I don't have it in front of me, but it's the latest one. But they also do a retrospective on the Shadow in DC Comics, which is another great article.
Oh, nice.
So Matt should check that out as well. Sorry, Murd. Go ahead.
Oh, yes, thank you, Chris. Before we venture any further into book territory, there was one more thing I wanted to mention in under Valiant, actually, on page 470. It's called Britannia. It might be of interest to you, Chris, because it is another historical period piece. It's written by Peter Milligan, art by Jose Rip, and it is a detective story set in the 1st century A.D., in the days of the Roman Empire and the Roman occupation of the British Isles.
Oh, wow.
So this could be Peter Milligan's chance to redeem himself in our eyes from the discipline.
What page is that, Murd? I'm sorry.
That is page 470. Oh, the colors will be by Jordi Belair, apparently.
Oh, wow. Take a look at that.
Gentlemen,
Oh, wow.
I have to disconnect here. I have some familial duties that require me.
Okie dokie.
Understood, brother.
Say
Understood.
no more.
But thanks for letting me join.
Thanks for coming on.
Anytime.
Of course.
You're welcome anytime. My goodness.
Hail to the
great-
founder.
Shut up. Have a great week, guys.
You too.
You too, brother. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Murd, the art on that is gorgeous. Wow. The Britannia book?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm definitely going to check this out. It's beautiful.
All right, up on
And I'm sorry, Shane, go ahead.
504 and 505, How to Draw Bob's Burger coloring book, a Dungeons & Dragons Monsters and Hero coloring book, Supernatural TV show coloring book.
Page 503, there's a new Alan Moore novel being offered. It's called Jerusalem. If you enjoyed his Voices of the Fire, it appears to be in much the same vein. It's tracing like the history of his hometown in Northampton, England. But employing A kaleidoscope of literary forms and styles that range from brutal social realism to extravagant children's fantasy, etc., etc., etc. So it's going to be very eclectic. But yeah, it's Alan Moore, so it has to be worth a look.
Wow. Check out page 508, bottom right-hand corner. Star Wars Art, Ralph McQuarrie, hardcover. $250. 800
Wow.
pages of art. I am sure that would be gorgeous.
I'm sure it is. Unfortunately, none of us can afford it, but
That is true.
I'm sure it's a beautiful, beautiful presentation. Next to that is the Life of Leonard Nimoy, a biography of the late Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good read, too.
Yeah.
And next to that, on the other side, is a new Star Wars Year by Year. I have the first one, and I loved it. Not only did it go through everything that happened with Star Wars through the years, but on the tops and bottoms were footnotes of things happening in the world in general. It was really interesting. I have a couple different year-by-year books that I've read through.
I can imagine.
But now with Star Wars, I will probably wait for the next few movies to be done when they redo it again. But yeah, that's a good book if you don't have it. It's a lot of fun to read.
A couple of T-shirts I wanted to point out I thought were interesting. On page 521, a question T-shirt. I've never seen a question T-shirt before.
And that's a good color, too.
Yeah, it's great.
Buckaroo Banzai and the Hong Kong Cavaliers right next to it. That's a great movie, too.
I have yet to see that film.
Oh,
I know.
It's so goofy. I love it.
It's all right. You can scoff at me too, Shane. I haven't seen that one.
I won't scoff. That just makes a movie night. Scott Powers has to come over and watch it with us.
Huh. Page 522, Archie Meets the Ramones T-shirt.
Are they singing the Friends song? Oh, no, that's not the Ramones. Is that the Ramones? That is the Ramones.
No, it's not the Ramones.
Not the Ramones.
Shane.
Who did that?
Rembrandts.
Rembrandts. That's it.
Yeah. Definitely not the Ramones, yes.
That's all right.
Page 525, a great Darwin Cook Wonder Woman T-shirt.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
With the JLA. It's a beautiful shirt. Wow. It's a great shirt. Page 526, Great Marvel Knights Black and White T-shirt. Looks like it's Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. All right, the very back of the book. Anything jumping out at people they wanted to talk about?
I see they have more Muppet stuff coming out, but it's still not as good as Palisades, so I won't even talk about it.
You can't go home again, Shane.
That's right.
Hey, Shane, could your kids use a lightsaber thumb wrestling kit?
No, our thumbs are so weird, we usually beat everybody.
Murd, on page 545, a Destroyer action figure. Odin as the Destroyer.
Wow, yes, wielding the mighty Odin sword.
Yes. Page 546, Mallrats figures.
Yes.
Wasn't he doing a sequel to Mallrats?
Yes, it's going to be filmed at Exton Mall, I think.
It's going to come out as a TV series, 10 episodes, from what I understand right now.
Oh,
Really?
killing
Huh.
Yep.
Yep. I drive right past that mall every time I go to and from Stone Harbor. It
Yep.
has been closed off a couple of times.
Yep.
So production's already underway.
Where is that mall?
Oh, it's
Exactly.
30 minutes south of us.
Okay. So it's in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It used to have a comic store in it years ago. That
Oh.
I used to go in. I don't remember the name of it, but it was there years and years ago.
So Page, you said a 10-episode series?
That's my understanding.
Wow.
On
Okay.
some special channel, or we don't know yet?
I don't know if it's been sold yet.
Okay.
I'm interested to see what he does with that concept.
All these years later.
All these years later. That should be interesting. I always thought that was a great, stupid movie.
Oh, that's great. That is. If that's not my favorite, that's number 2 of all of his movies. I love Mallrats.
Yeah, it's tons of fun, as they would say.
It's a sailboat.
Oh, God, there's. Hey, if you like Golden Girls, and I know some of you do, page 564 has pop figures.
We're really stretching it now.
Pop figures of the Golden Girls. Murr, don't look above it. You'll get angry.
He told you not to look!
I warned you.
Wait, what page is that on?
Oh, God, I flipped already. 564.
I just want to see what Murd's angry about. I love when Shane provokes him like that. Let's see.
It doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't, to Shane's credit.
I should have known. Fantastic.
That is probably one of the only things Murd and I disagree on. I think we fall in line with a lot of everything, but that one thing.
And I'm at odds with most of North America, I think, in my attitude on that particular entertainment property, Shane.
Well,
but
that's true.
I can't stand it.
I understand. On page 593, I will say about the newest offering from ArtFX statues for superpowers is Hawkman. Sometime I've got to track down a Batman one. I saw Golden Eagle had one and I didn't get it. I don't know if it's still there. It could still be there. I haven't gotten over to get it yet. I just hadn't had the money.
Oh, you mean based on the superpowers?
Yeah, on the toys. They're just statues, but I like the Batman one. That one really
Those were
nice.
great action figures. The Batmobile was great.
Yeah.
I had those. My brother and I had those when I was a kid.
I never had the Batmobile. I had some of the figures, but I never had the Batmobile.
All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
No, I'm good.
Murd, how about you?
No, I'm plenty done. Thank you, Chris.
Pantaloons?
Wrap it up.
Well, I think our bolt is shot.
All right.
The,
Well, then I
Let's
guess
remind- Go ahead, Murd. Go ahead.
Yes, our next duty then will be to remind everyone of our off-the-rack picks. First, for the upcoming month of August, we will be doing from DC Deathstroke Rebirth #1 and Superwoman #1, and from Image Kill or Be Killed #1. And from this month's catalog, from DC, we'll be doing Doom Patrol #1 from the new Young Animal sub-imprint. From Marvel, we'll be doing Doctor Strange Annual #1, and the independent pick will be IDW's Mask Mobile Armored Strike Command Revolution
working
#1.
overtime, fighting crime. See, I could do the whole song. As my sister reminded me when she was over for the party, and how I tape cassette recorded the episodes to listen to in the car.
Like audio.
Audio, yeah, on a tape cassette to listen to.
That's dedication.
Oh, yes, it was. On a boombox,
right.
no less. No headphones, so everybody heard it.
And of course, this episode was brought to you by Discounts Comic Book Service. Go to dcbservice.com for all your pre-ordering needs.
And look at their 100 bundles for DC Comics. Visit us at comicgeekspeak.com to send us an email. The address is comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. To leave a voicemail, the number is 267-702-6642. We're looking for some Muddle the Merds. I think we
Sure, why not?
Why not? Visit us. Stop by thecomicforums.vanillaforums.com and let us know what you're getting out of previews that we may have missed. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. Thanks to everyone who listens and contributes. We appreciate it and enjoy comments. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.